They're stroking up and down their axes and getting their hogs all bunched up into tight pants for your manly pleasure. So strap on that long, smooth, soul-penetrating Gibson as we get hard on this review of The Darkness. Now, one would think in these dark times that hell is frozen over with the lack of quality rock and roll and masculine male role models. But The Darkness is walking through fire today in an attempt to dive into the annals of history to carve their names within. Which leads us into our first rockstar manly test. Are there any hot ladies? And by hot, of course, we mean highly capable and original characters with huge amounts of talent. Well, I guess one does have to start somewhere, but this is a bit rough. Because it seems like The Darkness has been hitting the sauce and white powder a little too hard as they're coming in with a strip club B team. It must have been a long night with slim pickings at closing time to show up with, well, let's just say they can't all be winners. Yeesh. I guess it really is a long way to the top when you want to rock and roll. But don't let that discourage you manly men out there, because although it takes some time, The Darkness are ready to prove that with a lot of determination and a record deal, you too can dress like a flat-chested time-traveling space fembot from the 80s and still have stone-cold foxes screaming in the front row. Not to mention for a short time a hot lady rockin' drummer. Proof that when you've hit rock bottom, the only option is to harden up that skin, stand erect, and follow that tingly sensation from the bottom up to the tippy top. All the way to the heavens above and their first point on the board. But sometimes you just need a bump. So that's going to lead us into our next category, explosive loads of action. Well, some boy bands will focus on the dance choreography and pointing at the ladies on the other side of the screen, but not The Darkness. They come big and hard all over everything they can, by jet skiing the coast of Nantucket in the back, to eating chocolates on a windowsill while it's looking daintily at the rain outside. These lords of rock test the elasticity of all the catsuits they can lube themselves into, and ride gallantly up and down those snowy slopes until they inevitably turn against those that get a little too nosy. Watch out for that bombsicle. Well, that was unexpected, but it does fit the category. Anyway, back to the butt-smacking, jug-flashing, rope-swinging action. For battles with Cthulhu, catfights, and well, as we all know from episode 2 of Hard On Reviews, sex does sell action for that point on the board. Well, they've certainly proven that there can be only one Lord of Darkness musical action. But it's still early in the competition, so let us know how you feel about The Darkness in the comments as we continue onward for Where, Oh Where Are the Rugged Dudes? Well, it seems like they may have misunderstood the category because even in this day and age with so many boxes, we're having a hard time figuring out how they identify. The mustaches and flat chests are leading me to believe that they at least started the competition as male, but the outfits, makeup, and limp wrists tell a different story. So, unfortunately, unless they can prove definitively that they're... Oh, well, there's no better telltale sign of a dude than clinging on to that crown of thorns, better known as male pattern baldness. But unfortunately, that's not enough to hogtie the point here. Now, wait just a minute. It seems like rocking on the guitar and shaking your rump is quite the aphrodisiac for hot ladies of all shapes and sizes. And even some dudes can't help but show those mandibles. So I guess it's pretty clear that despite their skinny frames and tricycle fringe, it doesn't get more rugged than eating chili peppers on mountaintops, having great penmanship, and strongman rock throwing. Not to mention effortlessly getting those knockers out to secure the point on the board, which reminds me of our next category, amply developed characters. Well, that rockstar lifestyle tends to be quite the roller coaster, and The Darkness frontman made sure to live up to the hype. Going from performing in convenience stores to supposedly blowing 150,000 euros on nose dust within just a few years. Well, I'm not sure how much cryptocurrency is in real money, but that sounds like a lot. And that's not even including all the booze. And just like Icarus, he blew his nose too close to the sun and fell down hard, waking up in first class in a pool of his own urine. Not exactly the Mile High Club, but if I'm being honest, I've been there twice, in coach economy. But like a true man, he bounced back by sobering up and getting the band back together, with their latest album, Dreams on Toast, ready to release on March 28th, 2025. So be sure to jot that down as we stumble into our next category, What Obituary, where we look for signs of fisticuffs, death, and dismemberment. Now, one does wonder how a rock and roll band could manage that obituary point, but we do have a team looking into their shape-shifting drummer. Now, unfortunately, as we all know from watching Ghost Hunter, those deep dives may just be polishing floating balls into a bluish hue. Hey now, looks like they're coming in hot with some insurance. Well, say what you want about men wearing catsuits and girly bicycle fringe, but these ladyboys are giving it hard to the female class, with good old-fashioned lady killing, by putting them on a long, hard skewer over an open fire that's so hot the ladies get them knockers out in a last-ditch effort to stay alive, before that rumpa-pump-pump of hard rock and roll takes them for a ride on that rainbow bridge that all lassies eventually end up on, which secures another point on the board, and puts them just a money shot away from a landslide victory. So, like and subscribe, as the darkness comes down the backside of the competition into our final category, Nothing to See Here, where we try to squeeze as much as we can out of that narrative for that finale. Well, this ain't no Tolstoy, because this is a story of how one can go from the British Isles to celebrity smiles, and a mesmerizing high-pitched voice that belts classic lyrics such as Sacred Promise of Fellatio, I am Santa, every man, woman, and child wants to suck my I got ping pong on Wednesday, needlework on Thursday, and dancing on a Friday night. Physical sex with a feely touchy woman? We're never gonna stop shitting out solid gold. Get your hands off my woman, motherfucker. And don't even think my mom bought the last one. Lyrics that tell the stories of relationship up and downs and the lives of these rock and roll party cowboys. All hopped up on pool boys, Jack Daniels, bandanas, and their final point on the board, with a victory that pulls them off the days of singing into thick, girthy sausages, proving that they truly are the last of their kind. Which also cements their place on the Hard On Review's Hall of Fame, because the darkness is officially approved for manly consumption. And with them doing the Lord's work out there, we can't help but falling in love with rock and roll. As for the full story of catsuits, ball grabbing, and dancing dog delights, we'll just have to leave that up to the rockumentary. Welcome to the darkness. Coming all over Prime Happy Packages and Blu-ray DVDs on April 15th, 2025. Well, that's all we have for today, so like and subscribe if you enjoyed yourself, and click your screen for another Hard On Review.